Hello, I'm here today to corrupt you. I got my first tattoo when I was about 19. I was trying to trace it back in my life and work out like at what point I decided I wanted tattoos or I thought tattoos were cool. And it basically goes back to when I was about 10 or 11 and somebody gave me a Linkin Park album and then I got a Blink 182 album and a Good Charlotte album all in the same year. There was no hope for me after that. I'm just gonna remove this spray bottle. I know that I find it fascinating watching other people's videos about their tattoos, so I'm going to tell you about my tattoos today. As of about 4 hours ago, I have 5 tattoos. Let's go in order. This on my left wrist was my first tattoo. It is the silhouette of a stag. It came from a real photo, so I just like found a photo of a stag that I liked online and the artist drew the silhouette from the picture and then tattooed it onto my body. That was the one that I got when I was 19. It's also the one where I fainted about 5 minutes in. Then I woke up and threw up in the tattoo shop sink. Luckily, they were all really nice about it. And I like had some sugary water to drink and had a fan next to me and we just cracked on and finished the tattoo. Obviously tattoos hurt, like they are painful. Someone's stabbing you with the needle thousands of times, but it is a bearable pain. It's not like I blacked out because the pain was too much to bear. I blacked out because I was incredibly nervous. Like my adrenaline must have been like this high and then suddenly I was in pain and it wasn't going away and you're not used to that kind of sustained pain. So yes, that was an interesting introduction to the world of tattooing. Something that a lot of people notice about this tattoo and my other wrist tattoo is that they are upside down. The thing about tattoos is that they really are for you. They are on your body until you die, so you have to be really sure that you are happy with what you're doing or that you'll at least have a good sense of humor about it in the future if you don't like them anymore. I was 100% sure that I wanted this one the right way up for me so that when I look at it I can see it because the tattoo was very meaningful for me. So yeah, I'm the one who wanted to get to enjoy it. Also, nobody is walking around all the time with their arms like clamped downwards at their sides. Most of the time our arms are like up here doing things, so technically my tattoo is sideways. But yeah, this one does have quite a few meanings. It is personal to me. I don't regret it. It's only been 7 years though, so there's always time. I got it done at a tattoo shop close to where my parents live in my hometown, and I think it was quite cheap. Like I think it only cost like 60 quid or something. And it's not because it was a dodgy shop or anything, it's actually a really good shop. I have no idea why it was so cheap. The second tattoo I got is on my right ankle. This one was a bit more spur of the moment. Like I did think about it for a while beforehand, but I wasn't really convinced I was gonna get it. And then one day I just went and got it. It is here on my ankle. It's Tolkien's monogram. Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which were very important to me and still are very important to me. I wanted to get a Lord of the Rings tattoo, but I wanted it to be subtle. Part of the meaning of this is Harry Potter, but there are lots of other meanings as well. And I liked that you wouldn't necessarily be like, that's a Harry Potter tattoo. So I kind of wanted to do the same with the Lord of the Rings one. The problem with the Lord of the Rings one is that everyone thinks it's like a Chinese character, and I'm one of those horrible, culturally appropriative people who's like, I'm gonna get the word love tattooed on me in Mandarin. It honestly doesn't really bother me though, because you do just have to have a sense of humor about these things. I think I got that tattoo about a year after the first one, so I was about 20. I don't regret it because I feel like it's a waste to regret it, but it's definitely not like my favorite tattoo of the ones I have. After I got those 2 tattoos, I didn't get tattoos for a really long time. And then an idea took hold, which was that I really wanted to kind of balance out the masculinity, I guess, of the stag on this wrist with something on my other wrist that would be to do with like feminism and femininity and the women in my life, but also kind of Harry Potter as well. So last year, after a 5-year break from tattoos, I got this tattoo. This is my Lioness Tattoo. I love her very much. I especially love the fact that she's not like a stylized lioness. She's exactly what they look like. This came from a photo. She was done by Gabby College, who is a tattoo artist in South London, who I found through Instagram. I think my experience as like more of an adult, 25 and up, getting tattooed compared to my experience as a teenager has been so vastly different. Because for example, with my ankle tattoo, I actually wanted it to be a tiny bit smaller, not like loads smaller, so it's not a big deal at all. But the tattoo artist basically just said like, no, they wouldn't be able to do that, which I now know is kind of bullshit. I think if you're thinking of getting your own tattoos, just make sure you feel confident and in control throughout the entire experience. Because if you don't feel that, and if you don't feel like you can say like, I want that a little bit differently or smaller or in a different place, then you might walk out with a tattoo that you don't really want. Not ideal, especially because they are not cheap. I think this one was around £150. So after getting this tattoo last October, I think, or November, it basically opened the tattoo floodgates. People always told me that I would reach a point where suddenly I wanted wanted to just get loads of tattoos. And I think I have reached that point, so I'm trying to slow down and like think about it a bit more. Because after getting tattooed last autumn, I got another tattoo around my birthday in March of this year. I went to G Hawks in Brighton. She's great. It was like a really nice experience. I think it was around like between 120 and 140 pounds for this one. It is here on my like thigh, side butt, hip. I have some scarring on my hip from self-harm in my teenage days, and I always wanted to get something not to cover it up but kind of prove to myself that like that is in the past and that I have moved on and grown. So I thought that getting flowers, and specifically like English wildflowers, would be quite a nice way to symbolize that. I definitely think I thought about this one less before I got it. But I think it might be actually my favourite tattoo. After I thought of it, I think it was only 6 to 8 months later that I actually got it. Normally I sit with a tattoo idea for a year or more to make sure I really do want it. I know that in 20 years or whatever, I might feel completely differently about what I want on my body, but I do like the idea that tattoos kind of capture a moment in time and a moment in my life. And God, I hope I'm not so dull that I don't think it's at least funny when I'm older that I have tattoos that I don't like anymore, if that's the case. You only live once. YOLO. So that brings us to my most recent tattoo, which I actually got today, and it was also by Gabby College, who did my Lioness tattoo. I literally took the cling film off it about an hour ago, and I also kind of have to flash you to show you, so that's not ideal. It is a pirate ship on my ribs. It does have a meaning, which I'm not going to tell you because I don't have to tell you everything. But mostly I just wanted it and liked it. I saw a ship tattoo on someone when I was about 17 and I thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen, and I always wanted to get one. And now I'm a grown adult who can make her own mistakes. So I don't think this is a mistake, obviously, or I wouldn't have done it. This tattoo cost £130 and it took just over an hour, I think. Just for reference, if it's helpful if you're thinking about getting a tattoo, the Lioness one took about an hour and a half, but that's because it's just outline and shading. It doesn't have like colour, and also because it's quite small, because all my tattoos are like relatively small. So those are my tattoos right now. I'm sure I'll get more in the future. I hope this has been vaguely interesting to you. Sorry, mum and dad and whoever else is watching from my family. I think you all know the tattoos I have, but just in case you didn't, now I'm gonna go rub nappy rash cream into my ribs. What would you get as a tattoo if you were gonna get one? Or what will you get when you next get a tattoo? Let me know in the comments. Bye.